All right, man. So Bill Burr, we already had to record this intro because things started messing up, so we restarted. But so Bill Burr is facing a lot of backlash. I kind of already just filled Biddy in a little bit because I'm kind of getting hip to this like today, for real, for real. Talking to the homie Screw, he kind of gave me the rundown about some of the stuff going on, and I guess like why people are so mad. And we know Bill has kind of spoke against a lot of some of the stuff that's essentially not a right in Saudi Arabia, and taking money from the Saudi Arabian government after 9/11 and just all that kind of stuff. So I found a video that's actually fairly new that kind of breaks a lot of it down. But a lot of the comedians that were, I guess people would expect to do this aren't. And I don't even know how big of a thing this is because there's not a ton about it. And Bill hasn't really addressed it. And I feel like Bill addresses a lot of things. So we're going to kind of see, you know what I'm saying, what this is talking about. A little bit different, but let's see.
Yeah, there was it's tight. They just went to the desert and just fucking
They were asking me to go to the Middle East soon.
What? What? Where? Why?
Saudi Arabia and UAE or Dubai.
Dubai?
I think I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. For the troops? Is it for the troops?
Not for the troops.
What?
It's for the Saudis.
For the Saudi princes?
Yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, you should do it. Everyone's doing it. It's like, for Saudis?
Yeah.
Weren't those the 9/11 guys?
So I thought.
Aren't they exactly the 9/11 guys?
Alright, so if you heard the news, Saudi Arabia is currently hosting a pretty controversial comedy festival in their capital city of Riyadh, with some of the world's most famous comedians headlining the event. Huge names like Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and even Bill Burr are being paid millions of dollars to perform there in the next few weeks. And as you might have already guessed, their fans and their fellow comedians.
I'm laughing because somebody made an Arab money version of this, just like making fun of it.
It's funny. The way they was dressed up and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
not dressed up, but
But yeah.
Are really hating on them for it. Since Saudi Arabia has a long record of some serious human rights violations and state-sponsored atrocities that these comedians are just gonna ignore while they perform there, I guess. Because if they don't, they could literally end their own lives. Like, it's actually illegal to say some things over there. And the crime is punishable by death. Just look at Jamal Khashoggi. So it's just an overall disappointment.
Yeah, that's a reporter that just got killed, which is like absolutely.
Was he on their land though?
Yeah, but I'm saying like he literally got killed for like nothing. Like they like just because essentially like human rights laws are just not human rights laws. So he just got killed like for, I don't know. From what that's what I know of it, but it's some crazy ish basically.
Punishable by death. Just look at Jamal Khashoggi. So it's just an overall disappointing time to be a fan of comedy right now. And other comedians realize this too. I mean, just the other day, the guy who played Gabe Lewis from The Office, Zach Woods, hilariously summed up the whole thing in a TikTok post, where he put everyone there on blast, as they're essentially selling their integrity in exchange for enormous quantities of blood-soaked cash.
Yep.
Guys, it's that special time of year. It's the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And all of your favorite comedians are performing at the pleasure of Turki Al-Sheikh. And he is the head of the entertainment authority over there. And he has so many people thrown in prison because they tweeted stuff he didn't like about the soccer team or whatever, that there's a wing of a prison nicknamed after him where they hang people by their heels from the ceiling. Now, there's a lot of drips, killjoys, and dweebazoids who are saying, they shouldn't do comedy over there because it's whitewashing a regime that just in June killed a journalist and killed Jamal Khashoggi and played a big role in 9/11. Shut up. Name one comedian who hasn't whored themselves out to a dictator. Sinbad in the 80s would go perform for dying Nazis hidden out in Argentina. Mr. Bean would do private shows for Idi Amin. Me and Bibi Netanyahu have collaborated. I pitched him a prank show called The West Bank. Let's not get our, moral panties yanked up, wedged high in our rumps. Human Rights Watch has been begging the comedians not to participate in the whitewashing of the horrors that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. Ugh, what a cockblock.
And don't think for a single second that these so-called free speech warriors are just going to go up on stage and suddenly turn into rebels, bravely using their sets as some kind of noble protest against the Saudi regime. Their silence has been bought, packaged, and paid for in full. They're going to keep their mouths shut, tell some pretty safe jokes, collect the check, and then fly on home. Like there is absolutely no room to deviate from that script. They're not even allowed to make hints at the ugly reality of what the government has done there. Just take a look at what happened to Tim Dillon. He got banned from the festival for something as small as mentioning Saudi slave labor on his podcast. A podcast that he records in...
Bro, this is crazy because it's like this is literally so anti-comedy just because comedy is so freedom of speech and then censorship and blah da 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 that it's like I just cannot believe that they would take that bag. Like,
It must be worth a lot then. They're doing it for the money. They got to be doing it for the money. I can't see any other reason what they would be doing it for.
Oh yeah, it's definitely for the money. They're getting like a ridiculous amount of back. Like, I bet like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, and Bill Burr probably getting some M's, like something that they probably never gotten.
Yeah, but I bet you they're not going to be as funny as they normally would be just because they can't say anything.
Oh hell no! Yeah, no. I mean, like what he said is just. Go ahead.
That crowd just gonna be crickets.
Yeah, or they're gonna be fearing
right, whatever that comes up their mouths, even if by accident. Hopefully they don't slip up and say nothing.
Boy, what they about to go up there and cry? Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
America, mind you.
Not that.
I'm not
fired
watching
from
the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
And the craziest part about that was that he wasn't even condemning the slavery. He was, in a weird Tim Dillon-y kind of way, spinning it into some dark humor that actually casts it in a positive light. But the mere fact that he let the word slavery pass through his lips was enough to get him axed without warning.
Well, they have slaves, then they kill Hey. Get over it. Get over it. So what? So what they have slaves? So what? My friend, not a friend, somebody I don't even know. I bumped into them in Tribeca. And he goes, I would never do that because I don't want to interact with slaves. I'm like, well, why not? They'd be deferential, right? I mean, I imagine the slaves in those countries are good at what they do.
That's how extreme the censorship truly is. It doesn't matter if you say it sarcastically, ironically, or even supportively. The regime doesn't want the word itself uttered, because the word reminds people of reality, and reality is the last thing they want leaking into their carefully manufactured spectacle. So here's Tim's reaction after he got fired.
My agent called me and told me they heard what you said about them having slaves. And I said, I was being positive about it. I was defending them. He goes, well, I know that. I know you were defending them. I said, I was defending them for having slaves. I literally said, slaves are probably hard workers and, for the most part, agreeable. But they didn't like that.
When trying to be, God damn. When trying to be an edgelord just goes wrong. It's hilarious.
Agreeable. But they didn't like that.
It's like, what?
I was saying that slaves were proud of some of the buildings they built. Now, I am very clear about the way I will do a gig. If I accept a gig, I am not going to break the rules of the gig. So I certainly wasn't going to show up in your country and insult the people that are paying me the money. One, it's illegal. So I wasn't really planning to go to a Saudi jail. But on my own show, in my own country, where I have the freedom to speak and say the things I want, I'm going to be funny and I'm going to be who I am. And if you're not buying that, I addressed it in a funny way, and they fired me.
It's just so funny how he's acting shocked that they do something like this. Like, he can't believe that the Saudi Arabian government would do something so unbelievable and uncalled for. I mean, I know that comedians aren't the smartest people in the world, but to think that the Saudis won't micromanage every little thing you say leading up to the event is an extremely boneheaded thought. Again, they're paying them to be puppets. Like, they're not allowed to do the comedy that they've been doing for decades whatsoever. The things that Tim Dillon said that got him fired were, in fact, nothing burgers, as one would say. But to a government that throws women in prison for simply taking off their abaya in public, even the tiniest joke is treated like a national security threat.
My Islamophobia and my love of bacon are completely separate things.
Not only that, you can
Yeah.
go to Muslim countries
Right.
and yell, "I love bacon." There's no laws against it.
I will be doing it at the Riyadh Comedy Festival very soon. Get your tickets! Get your tickets!
Are you really going to go there?
Of course I am.
Wow.
Why would I not? Would they kill gay people and women? By the way, we've said that about. We say this about every Muslim. Every Muslim country is throwing gay people off the roof.
I mean, it's just like some of this. I don't really necessarily care about the people that I knew would do this. You know what I mean? Like, the people that I expect to do this, I'm kind of just like, yeah, like, you niggas are spineless jellyfish anyways. So, like, I would expect that. But, like, it's the people that, like, I didn't. You know what I mean? My biggest thing was the Bill Burr shit, because I'm a fan of Bill Burr, and I think Bill Burr is a person that, like it or not, he stands for something, and there's been enough times where I've seen him check people for, you know, whatever. And now it's like him doing is just so, like, yeah, it's just like some real sellout-ish. And it's like something that, like, Bill Burr is just so against that. That is just, I don't know. That's the one that I feel like got me. And I mean, the Chappelle and whatchamacallit and Kevin, yeah. Louis, I can see him doing something like that. So it's like, but then, like, you know, they got like Andrew Schultz and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I would kind of expect that, but not somebody who has literal jokes about this. You know what I mean? Like, we have actually reacted to recently Bill Burr making jokes specifically about stuff like this, and it's just like, yeah, it's crazy.
But I'm surprised they didn't take him off then, since he made jokes and they took him off.
It's Bill Burr. I mean, like, it's, you know, top 5 comedian. I don't know. My bad, bro. I don't know why this camera just decided today it wants to not focus, but yeah. So, my bad. That's why we restarted the first time.
All the time, by the way. Okay. I obviously don't agree with Saudi Arabian policies on women and things like that.
Yeah.
Is it my business to tell Saudi Arabia how to live? Truly.
How big was the check?
$375,000 for one show.
Nice.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll take
He's
that.
getting
I'll
paid
watch a
that.
behanding for that.
Behanding?
Yeah, it's called a behanding. What happens is they cut the hand off the thief.
And I know some of you might be thinking that for the amount of money that Saudi Arabia is paying, anybody would be an idiot not to go. Which is only fair if they were being paid Cristiano Ronaldo money, okay? They're not, though. And in my opinion, they're not even being paid anywhere close to an amount that justifies going. Like on the same podcast that got Tim fired from the festival, he actually mentions how much everyone was getting paid to perform there, listing figures as high as $1.6 million and as low as $150K.
You're coming out and saying you're doing the Saudi thing for money. They're paying you a lot of money. I'm not going to tell you how much they're paying me. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much they're paying me. $375,000 for one show. Now a lot of other people are getting 1.6 million. That's not me. I'm not in that bracket. But they're giving me 375. Others are getting 150. Why are they doing it? Here's the point.
If this is true, and 1.6 mil is the highest they're paying people, then this is more pathetic for the comedians than I'd ever thought. Don't get me wrong, $1.6 million is a lot of money, but for the impact that this is going to have on their reputations, it's really not enough, especially for someone like Kevin Hart, whose net worth is something close to $500 million. And don't even get me started on the people who accepted the $150K. that's possibly the funniest thing to come out about this festival. Like, sure, 150K is a lot to most people on Earth, but these comedians easily clear that on tour, where, might I just add, they're allowed to say pretty much whatever they want. A guy like Theodore von Kernatowski III literally makes 150K in one night. Just take a look at one of his pay stubs that someone leaked online not too long ago. So this is just some absolute scumbaggery coming from a lot of these court jesters. It's what I'd expect from people like Andrew Schultz and Whitney Cummings.
It's literally what I said.
But Bill Burr honestly caught me off guard. I love the guy and was hoping he'd try and make a stand for what he believes in when he performs there, but being that Tim Dillon was fired for even mentioning slavery in his own country, I'm pretty sure Bill Burr's just gonna play it safe, which makes him no better than anyone else on the list. And him performing there just hollows out everything he preaches about on his podcast. I mean, he's even recorded himself talking smack about people who accept money from the Saudi government way back in 2011, which, now that he went and performed there, just sounds like jack shit when you go back and listen to it again.
Because no one ever raises money for terrorists, right? I guess, unless you do a comedy show in, like, Saudi Arabia. Isn't that what they do? You know, that's how they raise money, with their filthy fucking oil money.
But hey, as one legend of the channel sadly fades into the background, another rises up to fill the void, as Mark Maron has been one of the comedians calling out the Riyadh disaster lately, just as I thought Bill Burr would.
And, don't get me started about the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah, that looks like...
You think you saw it? How is it?
Oh, no, I did see that. Yes,
it's under the radar.
Yeah.
That all these huge acts, I can name names, but you can just go look it up. Were offered complete, ridiculous amounts of the bloodiest money on the planet.
Yeah.
you know, but it's like, does it just come to that? And look, I can maintain this position because one, I wasn't asked.
Yeah, of course, that's always with me.
And I don't think I'd go. I know I wouldn't. But it's like, does history not matter at all? I mean, literally, it's like the Riyadh Comedy Festival from the guys who brought you 9/11.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, is that just nostalgia?
Well, there's a Riyadh Comedy Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one.
Yeah.
Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know?
And that's the other thing, too, about Bill that bothers me is because I'm like, recently Bill's had so many things going. Where it's like, I know you're not hurting for money, bro. Like, there's no way that you could be. And even hearing that, I'm like, they said like 1.6 the highest. I'm like, and you would do that's so.
I think that's to Bill.
No, I mean, it's probably.
He's up there.
Well, Bill is probably up there. I'm sure Dave Chappelle is up there, and I'm sure Kevin Hart is up there, and I'm sure Louis is up there pretty high. And it's just like. But, like, you know, Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart are probably getting paid, you know, that and Bill's. It don't matter. 1.5 million is just not enough to just know that you're due. I guess in my brain, it's just against everything that he stands for. So I guess that's why I'm harping on Bill the most, but.
I don't think that these comedians or their managers realized just how much people were going to trash them for doing this event, because Bill Burr performing in Saudi Arabia is not really the same as Ronaldo playing soccer there for $700 million. Ronaldo's job requires him to kick around an inflated ball for 90 minutes straight. Bill Burr's job requires the freedom of expression, and Saudi Arabia is one of the last places on earth where that's found. I mean, the only place that I could think of that would be worse would be if somebody performed for Israel or for the US U.S. government. And yes, I'm aware that some of you may be thinking that simply performing in the States is worse than performing in Riyadh, since the government here is in fact funding a genocide. But comedians don't perform for the U.S. government when they do comedy here. They're performing for separately owned venues. And whenever comedians do decide to perform for the U.S. government...
Yeah, that is a big thing. I'm sorry to pause again, but that is a big thing. It's for the government of Saudi Arabia. Like, you know, you can disagree. That's why, like, I'm not trying to have, like, too many opinions of what's right, what's wrong. It's not really about that. Like, this ain't about a political thing to me. This is about, like, morality and, like, not being a spineless jellyfish and, you know, I guess, like, being kind of like a traitor in a way. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, it is different, you know, for different situations. Like, he did make a good point, like, being in America, whatever, that could be for, you know, a private entity. That's not the same as saying, oh, you're doing this for the government of somebody who has legitimately funded terrorist organizations against
your country.
Yeah, it's like, huh?
Everyone rightfully shits on them for it. Like when Theo Von went to perform stand-up comedy for Donald Trump in Qatar. That was a really shitty thing to do. I hope I made that very clear. But anyways, at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. Taking Saudi money means selling out your voice, and no punchline in the world is worth that.
I'm mad they had Shane Gillis on there and he's not even in that. Shane Gillis talking about that made me like Shane Gillis more. I ain't gonna lie. That was just like, damn.
When is that?
When is it?
Festival, yeah.
It's said on that thing. It said the 26th through the 9th of October. So yesterday. So I don't know. I like this video just came out today, but like I've seen. You know, it's crazy because I be looking at Bill Burr tickets, and that's like the only person. Like, I don't follow too many people on Instagram, but I follow Bill Burr, and I remember the announcement of this, but I guess I just never. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is, you know, I just didn't know what it was. I was just like, oh yeah, like people perform in different countries all the time. Like I didn't think that was abnormal. But then the more that I start unwrapping it, I'm like, oh, this nigga trapping. Hit that like button, man. Let us know how you feeling about it in the comment section. I think most people are going to be against this. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. This isn't really a political thing. It's just like a blood money, you know?
If you're with it, it's because you're like, oh, I'll take the money. But
but like some people,
it can be very hard if you slip up one little word and
off with your head.
Off with your head, for real.
For real.
Like catch yourself slip.
Hey.
And then the guy, whoever he said that runs, that's owned over the comedian entertainment, is right there watching you. So.
Oh yeah,
the Sheik, guarded men like waiting outside just in case.
Well, he'd be at like the boxing matches and ish. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy, but yeah, drop a like. Let us know how you feeling in the comment section. A little different video over there tired.
Sorry, it's early in the morning.
We out of here. Let's get it.